Let me tell you something that might shock you. Right now, there are millions of people around the world who've been studying English for 5, 10, even 15 years. And guess what? They still can't hold a basic conversation. They freeze when someone speaks to them. They panic when they need to order food in English. Years of study, and they're still stuck. And here's the crazy part. It's not their fault. It's not your fault either if you're feeling this way. The problem isn't you. The problem is the system. The traditional way we've been taught languages is completely broken. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why. Think about this for a second. How did you learn your native language? Did your parents sit you down when you were a baby and say, "Okay, today we're learning the present perfect continuous tense"? Of course not. That would be insane. You learned by listening, by copying, by making mistakes and trying again. You learned naturally, without even thinking about it. But then, what happens when we go to school to learn English? Everything changes. Suddenly, it's all about grammar rules, verb conjugations, memorizing lists of vocabulary that you'll never use, fill in the blanks, multiple choice tests. And the worst part? Nobody actually speaks English in these classes. It's all theory, no practice. I remember talking to a student from Brazil. Let's call her Maria. She studied English for 8 years in school. 8 years. She knew all the grammar rules. She could ace any written test. But when she traveled to the United States for the first time, she couldn't even ask for directions. 8 years of study, and she felt like she knew nothing. She told me she almost cried from frustration at the airport. This isn't just Maria's story. This is happening everywhere. In Japan, students study English for 6 years minimum, sometimes 12. And Japan has one of the lowest English proficiency rates among developed countries. In Latin America, people take English classes their entire school life and still can't speak. In Europe, even with all their language programs, millions struggle with real conversation.
Why is this happening? Because traditional methods focus on the wrong things. They treat language like it's mathematics, like it's a puzzle you solve with formulas. But language isn't math. Language is communication. It's connection. It's expression. And you can't learn that from a textbook. Think about how much time you've wasted memorizing irregular verbs. Be, was, been, go, went, gone. Hundreds of them. But here's the truth. Native speakers don't think about these forms when they talk. They just talk. They learn these patterns naturally, through exposure, not through memorization. And don't even get me started on those ridiculous dialogues in textbooks. "Hello, John. How do you do?" "I am fine, thank you. And you?" Nobody talks like that. Real English is messy. It's full of slang, contractions, incomplete sentences. Real people say things like, "What's up?" "Not much, you?" "Same old." But your textbook won't teach you that. The traditional system also has this obsession with perfection. Don't make mistakes. Always use proper grammar. Never end a sentence with a preposition. But guess what? Native speakers make mistakes all the time. They use wrong grammar. They mumble. They use filler words like and like constantly. But they communicate effectively because fluency isn't about perfection. It's about connection. Here's another problem. Traditional methods teach you to translate everything. You hear English, translate to your language in your head, think of the response in your language, translate back to English, then speak. That's 4 steps for one simple response. No wonder you can't keep up with real conversations. Your brain is working overtime just to say, I agree with you. And the fear. Oh, the fear that traditional education creates. The fear of making mistakes. The fear of sounding stupid. The fear of not knowing the right word. This fear paralyzes you. It makes you stay quiet even when you know what to say. It makes you avoid conversations that could help you improve.
You know what's even worse? The way traditional methods completely ignore how your brain actually learns. Your brain is incredible at recognizing patterns. It's designed to absorb information naturally, unconsciously. But traditional teaching fights against this natural process. Let me give you an example. When you listen to music in English, you probably understand more than you think. You pick up phrases, expressions, feelings, even if you don't know every word. That's your brain doing what it does best. But in a classroom, they pause after every sentence. They explain every detail. They kill the natural flow that helps your brain learn. And here's something nobody talks about: the speed problem. Traditional classes teach you slow, clear, perfect English. The teacher speaks like a robot. Every word is clear. But real English? Native speakers talk fast. They connect words. Want to becomes wanna. Going to becomes gonna. What are you becomes whatcha. Your perfect classroom English is useless in the real world.
I met a guy from China who studied English for 12 years. 12 years! He could write beautiful essays. His grammar was perfect. But when he watched a simple TV show without subtitles, he understood maybe 20%. Why? Because he learned classroom English, not real English. The testing obsession is another disaster. Schools care more about test scores than actual communication. So what do they teach? Test strategies. How to eliminate wrong answers. How to guess correctly. But knowing how to pass a test doesn't mean you can speak English. It just means you're good at tests. And let's talk about vocabulary for a second. Traditional methods make you memorize thousands of words you'll never use. When was the last time you needed to say photosynthesis in daily conversation? Meanwhile, they don't teach you the 100 phrasal verbs that native speakers use every single day. Figure out, come up with, put off. These are way more important than scientific terminology, but they're barely covered.
Here's a truth bomb for you. Native English speakers actively use only about 3,000 words in daily conversation. 3,000. But traditional courses try to teach you 10,000, 15,000 words. It's insane. You're learning words that even native speakers don't know, while you can't even order coffee naturally. The classroom environment itself is a problem. Sitting in rows, facing forward, one person talking, everyone else silent. This isn't how humans learn language. We learn through interaction, through play, through meaningful communication. But traditional classrooms treat language like information to download into your brain. And the materials, oh my God, the materials. Boring texts about random topics nobody cares about. The history of some random British castle. The biography of a scientist from the 1800s. How is this helping you speak English? You need content that matters to you, that excites you, that makes you want to understand more. I know someone who learned more English from watching Friends with subtitles than from 5 years of formal education. Why? Because she cared about the characters. She wanted to understand the jokes. She was emotionally invested. That's powerful learning. But schools would say she's not studying properly.
Here's what really gets me angry. Traditional methods know they don't work. The statistics are clear. The failure rates are obvious. But they keep doing the same thing because it's easier to test, easier to standardize, easier to sell as a course. They're not interested in your fluency. They're interested in keeping you as a student forever. Think about this. How many people do you know who are still taking English classes after years of study? Still buying new courses? Still feeling like they're not ready to speak? That's not an accident. That's the system working exactly as designed, to keep you dependent, keep you paying, keep you feeling like you need just one more course to finally be fluent. But here's what they don't want you to know. Fluency doesn't come from perfection. It comes from communication, from making mistakes and not caring, from focusing on message over method, from using whatever English you have right now, today, imperfectly but effectively.
So, what's the solution? How do you actually become fluent when everything you've been taught is wrong? I'm going to tell you exactly what works, and it's probably the opposite of everything you've been doing. First, stop studying English and start living it. What do I mean? Stop treating English like a subject and start treating it like a tool. You don't study a hammer, you use a hammer. English is the same. Use it, messily, imperfectly, but use it every single day. Change your phone to English right now. I'm serious, right now. Every notification, every app, every message you see will be in English. Your brain will start absorbing patterns without you even trying. It's uncomfortable for maybe 3 days. Then it becomes normal. This one change alone will teach you more practical English than a month of classes. Next, forget about grammar rules. I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. You need to develop an intuition for what sounds right, not a mental encyclopedia of rules. How do you do this? Massive input. Listen to English constantly. Podcasts while you cook. YouTube while you exercise. Netflix while you relax. But here's the key. Choose content you actually enjoy. If you're bored, you're not learning. And when you watch shows, use what I call the subtitle ladder. Start with subtitles in your language if you need to. Then switch to English subtitles. Then no subtitles at all. Each step trains your brain differently. Don't rush it. Comfort is more important than challenge at first. Speaking of comfort,
You need to get comfortable with not understanding everything. This is huge. Traditional school taught you to understand 100% or you failed. But in real life, understanding 70% is enough. Context fills in the gaps. Stop pausing to look up every word. Let your brain figure it out naturally. Now, about speaking. You've been taught to speak when you're ready, but you'll never feel ready. Never. So start speaking now, badly. Talk to yourself. Narrate your life in English. I'm making coffee. The water is hot. It smells good. Sound silly? It works. Your mouth needs to practice making English sounds, and you don't need a teacher for that. Record yourself. I know you'll hate how you sound. Everyone does. But it's the fastest way to improve. Read a paragraph from anything, a news article, a book, whatever. Record it. Listen, try again. You'll hear your mistakes better than any teacher could point them out.
Find what I call English anchors in your daily life. A 5-minute English routine every morning. Maybe you describe your dreams in English while you shower. Maybe you summarize yesterday in English while you commute. Small, consistent habits beat long study sessions every time. And please stop translating. This is the hardest habit to break, but it's essential. When you learn a new word, don't translate it. Connect it to an image, a feeling, a situation. The word angry isn't enojado or irritado or whatever in your language. It's the feeling of heat in your face, the tension in your jaw. That's how native speakers process language. Use what I call shadow speaking. Play a video of someone speaking English naturally. Pause after each sentence and repeat exactly what they said, how they said it. Copy their rhythm, their intonation, their energy. You're training your mouth and your ear at the same time. 10 minutes of this beats an hour of grammar study. Here's something powerful. Find your English personality. When you speak English, you can be someone slightly different. Maybe more confident. Maybe more relaxed. This isn't fake. It's freedom. Use it. Many polyglots say they feel like different people in different languages. Embrace that. Stop looking for the perfect method or the perfect course. They don't exist. What works is consistency plus enjoyment. If you hate what you're doing, you'll quit. If you love it, you'll continue. And continuation is everything in language learning. Make English friends online, not language exchange partners where you're formally practicing. Real friends who share your interests. Gamers, music fans, whatever you're into. When you care about the conversation, the language becomes secondary. That's when real learning happens. And finally, understand this. Fluency isn't a destination. It's not like you wake up one day and boom, You're fluent. It's a spectrum. You're becoming more fluent every day you engage with English. Celebrate small wins. You understood a joke without translation? When? You dreamed in English? When? You forgot a word but explained around it. That's not failure. That's communication. The traditional system failed you, but you don't need it anymore. You have everything you need in your pocket. Your phone is a portal to endless English content. Your interests are your curriculum. Your mistakes are your teachers. Stop waiting for permission to speak English. Stop thinking you need one more course, one more certificate, one more year of study. You can start becoming fluent today. Not perfect, not accent-free, but fluent in the way that matters, able to connect, communicate, and express yourself. That's the truth they don't want you to know. You already have everything you need. Now use it.